You're probably thinking about compost and sunshine when you picture a perfect pepper harvest, right? But what if the real secret to robust, healthy pepper plants isn't what you expect at all? There's a little-known plant easily grown in your garden that holds the key to protecting your peppers from virtually everything. Get ready to discover the ultimate guardian for your bell peppers, jalapenos, and more. What if one tiny plant could be the secret guardian for every single pepper in your garden? Imagine an effortless natural shield that boosts your harvest without chemicals. Today, you're about to discover the surprising symbiotic relationship that protects your peppers from common threats, leading to a bounty you never thought possible. Every pepper gardener knows the heartbreak of walking into their garden to find plants under siege. Whether it's the telltale curl of aphid-damaged leaves, the stunted growth that signals nematode damage below ground, or the sudden appearance of whiteflies that seem to multiply overnight, pepper plants face a gauntlet of challenges that can devastate even the most carefully tended garden. The reality is that peppers, despite their fiery reputation, are surprisingly vulnerable plants. Their tender leaves and stems make perfect targets for soft-bodied insects, while their extensive root systems become highways for microscopic pests that most gardeners never even see. It's interesting how traditional gardening advice often focuses on reactive solutions, spraying when problems appear, treating symptoms rather than preventing causes. But hey, what if there was a proactive approach that worked around the clock, silently protecting your peppers while you sleep? Most gardeners, they spend their time fighting these battles after they've already begun, applying treatments that may help but often come too late to prevent significant damage. The frustrating cycle of pest management, disease control, and recovery can turn pepper growing from a joy into a chore. Yet there's a solution that's been hiding in plain sight, one that transforms your garden into a naturally protective ecosystem. The secret weapon in your pepper protection arsenal is none other than the humble marigold, specifically the French marigold, or Tagetes patula. These vibrant, cheerful flowers aren't just pretty faces in the garden, they're sophisticated biological warfare systems disguised as ornamental plants. While you've probably seen marigolds countless times in garden centers and landscapes, you may never have realized you were looking at one of nature's most effective pest control specialists. French marigolds possess an almost magical ability to create an invisible shield around your pepper plants. Their distinctive, pungent fragrance isn't just pleasant to human noses, it's a complex chemical signature that speaks directly to the insect world. The compounds responsible for that characteristic marigold scent include thiophenies and other sulfur-containing molecules that act as natural repellents against many of the most troublesome pepper pests. But the protection goes far beyond simple scent-based deterrents. Marigolds are living chemical factories, continuously producing and releasing compounds through both their foliage and their extensive root systems. These plants have evolved over millennia to defend themselves and their immediate environment from threats, and when you place them strategically around your peppers, your vegetables become beneficiaries of this ancient protective system. The visual impact of marigolds in a pepper garden extends beyond their protective qualities. Their bright orange, yellow, and red blooms create stunning color contrasts against the green foliage of pepper plants, while their compact, bushy growth habit fills in spaces between pepper plants without competing for resources. This aesthetic bonus means you're not sacrificing beauty for function, you're enhancing both simultaneously. The relationship between marigolds and pepper protection operates on multiple biological levels, creating a comprehensive defense system that addresses threats both above and below ground. Research has consistently demonstrated that French marigolds produce root exudates, chemical compounds released directly into the soil, that are particularly effective against root knot nematodes, microscopic roundworms that can devastate pepper root systems. These nematodes, invisible to the naked eye, create galls and knots on pepper roots that disrupt nutrient and water uptake, leading to stunted growth, yellowing leaves, and reduced fruit production. Traditional nematode control often requires soil fumigation or other intensive treatments, but marigolds offer a gentler, more sustainable approach. The compounds released by marigold roots, including alpha-terphenol, are naturally nematotoxic, meaning they create an inhospitable environment for these soil-dwelling pests without harming beneficial soil organisms. Above ground, marigolds really excel at deterring flying insects that plague pepper plants. Aphids, those tiny green or black insects that cluster on pepper leaves and stems, are particularly sensitive to marigold volatiles. The plants release these airborne compounds continuously, creating an invisible barrier that just makes the surrounding area way less attractive to aphid populations. Similarly, whiteflies, those small white flying insects that can quickly infest pepper plants, tend to avoid areas where marigolds are present. The protection also extends to attracting beneficial insects that serve as natural pest control agents. Marigold flowers are magnets for ladybugs, lacewings, and parasitic wasps, all of which are voracious predators of the insects that damage pepper plants. By providing these beneficial insects with nectar and pollen, marigolds essentially recruit an army of natural pest controllers that patrol your pepper plants around the clock. This creates a balanced ecosystem where pest populations are kept in check by their natural enemies rather than chemical interventions. Successfully integrating marigolds into your pepper garden requires strategic planning and proper spacing to maximize their protective benefits. The key is creating overlapping zones of protection that ensure every pepper plant benefits from marigold proximity without overcrowding or competition for resources. For optimal protection, plant French marigolds at intervals of 18 to 24 inches throughout your pepper planting area. This spacing allows each marigold to establish a protective zone while leaving adequate room for both plants to develop fully. If you're growing peppers in rows, consider planting marigolds as border guards along the edges and, interspersing additional plants within the rows at regular intervals. Timing is crucial for maximum effectiveness. In late August, as we're currently experiencing, you have an excellent opportunity to establish marigolds that will provide protection through the remainder of the growing season, and honestly, begin building soil-based nematode resistance for next year's garden. Marigolds are warm-season annuals that thrive in late summer conditions, and planting them now ensures they'll have time to establish their root systems and, really, begin releasing protective compounds before cooler weather arrives. When planting, it's a good idea to choose locations that receive full sun to partial shade, matching the light requirements of your pepper plants. Marigolds are remarkably adaptable, but honestly, they perform best in well-draining soil with moderate fertility. And just a quick tip, avoid over-fertilizing because excessive nitrogen can actually reduce flower production and the concentration of those protective compounds. Water regularly, but let the soil dry out just a bit between waterings to prevent root rot and, encourage robust root development. The beauty of this system really lies in its low maintenance requirements. Once established, marigolds are pretty much self-sufficient, needing only occasional deadheading to maintain continuous bloom production and pest deterrent activity. Regular removal of spent flowers not only keeps your plants looking attractive, but also ensures continued production of those compounds that make marigolds so effective at pepper protection. While, peppers may be the focus of our discussion, marigolds actually offer their protective benefits to a wide range of garden vegetables and herbs. Tomatoes, being closely related to peppers, benefit enormously from marigold companionship, experiencing similar protection from nematodes, aphids, and whiteflies. Cucurbits like cucumber squash and melons also benefit from marigold proximity, especially when it comes to flying pest deterrents. The strong scent that repels pepper pests is equally effective against cucumber beetles and squash bugs, which are, honestly, common destroyers of vine crops. Even leafy greens like lettuce and spinach can benefit from marigold protection, particularly against aphids and other soft-bodied insects that damage tender foliage. The holistic approach of companion planting with marigolds creates a more resilient garden ecosystem overall. Rather than viewing each plant species in isolation, you begin to see your garden as an interconnected community where each member contributes to the health and success of the whole. This perspective shift often leads to reduced pest problems across the entire garden, not just in areas specifically targeted for protection. This natural gardening approach aligns perfectly with sustainable growing practices that minimize chemical inputs while maximizing biological diversity. By working with nature's own pest control systems rather than against them, you create a garden environment that becomes more stable and productive over time. The beneficial insects attracted by marigolds don't limit their pest control activities to your peppers. They patrol the entire garden, providing ongoing protection for all your crops. The success of companion planting with marigolds often inspires gardeners to explore other beneficial plant relationships, leading to more sophisticated polyculture systems that can dramatically improve garden productivity while reducing maintenance requirements. Consider this your gateway into a more ecological approach to gardening that works with natural systems rather than trying to override them. As you implement this marigold protection system in your own pepper garden, pay attention to the changes you observe over the coming weeks and months. Make sure to document pest levels, plant health, and harvest quantities compared to previous years or unprotected areas. Your experience will become valuable data that can guide future planting decisions and help you refine your companion planting strategies. Remember to subscribe to Smart Garden for more companion planting secrets and natural gardening techniques that can transform your growing experience. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who are struggling with pepper pests, and let us know in the comments how marigolds have changed your garden's health and productivity. Together, we're building a community of growers who understand that the best solutions often come from working with nature rather than against it.